Hey everyone, we'll just get everybody in, see lots of people joining. I'll invite. Oh, multitasking, just getting everybody invited in.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, shit. Now I feel like I need a flag behind me.
You know, it's fallen down twice already, so we will see how long it stays up, but for now it's there. There's a lot of sticky tape holding it up, so. Hey everybody. Okay, we've got loads of people joining, so we'll give it a minute, but I'll just do a quick intro whilst we have everybody joining the call. So delighted to welcome you all to our Skyscanner LGBTQ plus family travel panel. My name is Jenna, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm the founder of Skyscanner's Pride Network, and I'm the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Lead at Skyscanner. And I also run an LGBT travel blog over on the Jenna Way as well. So I am delighted to have the honour of moderating today's panel and merging all of my passions into one conversation. Today we're going to be talking to three awesome LGBTQ plus parents who I'll introduce you to in a moment about their experiences of travel and travelling as an LGBTQ plus family. So they're all added in. And just as we wait for folk to join, I'd love for everybody to drop in the comments where you're joining us from today. Always love to see how global we are and where everybody is joining from. So drop that in the chat. And just before we introduce the panels as well, I just want to set a little bit of sort of ground rules, housekeeping. This is a safe space. We'll maintain a zero tolerance policy to any sort of derogatory behaviour or offensive comments or abuse, and any inappropriate questions won't be shared with our panelists. Today's session is also going to be recorded, and it's going to live on our Skyscanner feed so that folk can access the great resource and information we're about to get for forever. So cool. We've got loads of people on already, so we'll dive into our questions and we can do introductions. So don't know, Cara, you're top of my screen, so if you want to maybe go first, maybe you can introduce yourself, share your pronouns, maybe a little bit about your family, and I'd love to maybe hear of a great travel experience you've had this year so far, if you've managed to get away this year.
Yeah, just recently actually. My name is Cara. I run Cara's ATL or Cara's _ATL here on Instagram and TikTok. I basically run a lifestyle and family platform on both. So a lot of my content includes my daughter, who is Mila, she's 9, and my partner, who is, you'll hear her called, her name is also Cara, so you'll hear her called Cara W, or Mama Sadie, as Mila calls her. So we just kind of do, oh, sorry, it like popped up a message. We do just different kinds of family content around family travel, just bringing awareness to LGBTQ plus families, and just really trying to bring visibility to the community. Like, I'm a late in life lesbian. I did not come out to the age of 30. So that's a big part of my platform that I talk about a lot, is being coming out later in life, being a blended family, and what that looks like for someone in our community. So also, I don't think I said my pronouns. My pronouns are she, her. And that's
amazing. It. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks so much. Doug, do you want to take it next?
Hi, I'm Doug. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm part of the Traveling Gays on Instagram. We started years ago as obviously more travel, but since then we've been so fortunate to welcome the birth of our daughter via surrogacy in the USA. She's 8 months today, so it's just sort of merged us. Oh, I know. I thought she might be here on the floor actually playing, but luckily she's just gone to sleep, so we're all right for a minute. Let's see. Yeah, me and my husband Sanjay started the account just enjoying travel and all things, you know, LGBT, and just enjoying getting around and going places. But then since then it's turned into you know, something else, but with our amazing daughter, and actually just being visible, like Cara said, and just showing. I think people, especially here in the UK, don't really have such an understanding of surrogacy. So it's just been good to raise awareness and, you know, continue hopefully with the travel side as well with our amazing daughter. But we'll just see how things pan out. But it's just been, we've been so welcomed and accepted with it all. And we've met some amazing community online, really on Instagram, that's really helped us connect with other people and just, you know, learn from them. And hopefully people can learn from our experiences too.
Yes. Awesome. That's great. And Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm from Abby's Roller Coaster Life. Most of my focus with my content does have to do with family travel, also within the outdoor space. So like camping and hiking and snowboarding, like different things of that nature. I'm married. My wife and I, our anniversary, it'll be 8 years in August. And we have 2 daughters, Maya and Jameson. Maya is 10 and Jameson is 6.
Yeah. Amazing. And do you want to share your pronouns as well?
She, her.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'm so excited to chat to you all today. I know we've spoken a little bit, but dig into the world of family travel as well. And yeah, I guess on that, like we're talking about LGBT family travel. We talk about travel quite a lot, but why is it, I'd love to hear from you why it's important to particularly have a space to talk about family travel specifically. Does anyone want to share why, like, their thoughts on that?
I'll jump in. For me, a lot of the content that I see, or, you know, a lot of the visibility is centered around, like, you know, people without kids. So I think, you know, it's just part of being that like representation, like, hi, I'm a parent, I have kids. I also still love to travel and go places and do things. And I want them to see more of life and, you know, have that. Sorry, I have dogs. But I want them to, you know, see what is out there. How can I teach my child how to live if I'm not living myself? So we try to go out and do a lot of things and show them, like, this is what you can do. This is that representation. And I mean, when it comes to being an LGBTQ plus parent, I don't really see a lot of us showcasing that side of travel. So I mean, there's space for us out there, and people want to see families like ours out there. There are other families that want to see like what this would look like, or people who don't have kids yet want to see what would this look like. So I think it's very important.
For sure, yeah. Representation is so important. They talk about like you can't be what you can't see, and so thank you to all of you for doing what you do and being so visible. So what are some of the things, Cara, I'll come to you, some of the things for folk who are dialed in who are maybe not from the LGBT community that might not realize about traveling as an LGBTQ plus family?
Well, one thing that's huge is, I mean, I personally like to go places that we feel safe, that we know that are LGBTQ plus friendly. And that is specifically, like, I know some people like to travel to places that aren't necessarily, you know, deemed safe. And they just kind of, you know, keep their distance from each other, or like they don't really show PDA in front of the other people that are like in that specific country. But with kids, you have to be really smart about where you're going to travel to. Like, we're not going to take Mala and put her somewhere in danger, or where she could be in danger, or we could be in danger, and then she's just left there to defend herself, or, you know, have to even worry about that. So I think that's one thing that, like, a lot of people don't realize as a family that's queer that travels has to think about beforehand. You know, you have to really research where you're going, what it's going to be like, what that's going to look like for your family, what you might encounter, you know, and it's tough to think about those things because you don't want to have to think about that or worry about that. We live in the South in America. So we already have to think about that just where we live, where we go, what we do, you know, do we go anywhere outlying? Really no, because we just don't know how we're going to be accepted or how we're going to be treated. And as much as we want Mala to have exposure to so many different cultures and so many different people, we also want to make sure that she's not seeing as many times the negative effects that can come on from people being like, hey, you're not welcome here, or you're not, you know, accepted here, because those are already tough conversations we already have to have with her. I think it's harder when you have to explain that in real time, because she gets really emotional about that kind of stuff. Like, she doesn't understand why her moms, nobody would just accept her moms or love her moms just as humans. Like, that's a hard concept for her to get right now. So that's a big point that we have to always just make sure that we're going somewhere safe, that's safe for our family, and that it's welcoming for LGBTQ plus people.
Awesome. Yeah, there's so much to that. And Doug, I can see you nodding aggressively. Do you want to add in and share maybe like whether that's your same experience or?
Yeah, I think it's really, we obviously, Ari is only 8 weeks old, 8 months old even. So we had to travel back from the US with her. So maybe before we would necessarily have planned to travel with her, we were, you know, we waited for a passport in the US and moved back. We were in South Carolina as well. And we actually felt really welcomed there. We were obviously had preconceived ideas what it might be like, you know, because like you said, being suddenly a parent with a child is very different than, so me and my husband walking around, keeping our distance or whatever. Suddenly you're so visible to everybody else. And we didn't realize how much attention we would attract, 2 men and a baby. So everyone, I mean, touch wood, it's been very positive for us, but everybody has a lot to say. And if they don't have a lot to say, they're sort of saying it about us or to the side of us. We got on the aeroplane and we were in 3 seats of 3, and the husband was sat next to me and Sanjay, but another lady. And she's like, I want to know everything about that family before you get off the plane. And we just thought, you know what, maybe they'd be more dreading it if it was a same-sex family. But because, you know, it was everyone's a lot more interested, which makes you a lot more aware of what you're doing and eyes on you, etc. But yeah.
Yeah, and I watched your vlog of your surrogacy journey and the fact that you walked out of the hospital to, was it South Carolina Pride? So that was a nice welcome to the world.
It was really something we didn't expect. We walked straight out of the hospital, straight onto we actually had a video of a drag queen sat on a car bonnet going past the edge of the hospital, which was as Aria was still in her baby carrier, so in the car seat. So we actually ended up going for a coffee first on the way home. Our amazing surrogate Amber actually picked us up from the hospital before we went back to our Airbnb. And we actually just went and had a coffee on the street because we just thought, it's not what we expected, but you know, Ari was in her first Pride at 2 days old on the streets of Columbia in South Carolina. So it was amazing to feel accepted as well, somewhere where we thought we might not be in such a safe space. It was really amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I think that leads us on nicely, because I think it's easy sometimes when we have these conversations about LGBT travel or families, things like that, to kind of focus in on the barriers that might exist or some of the challenges. But I think it's also really important to celebrate the joy that travel can bring as well, and some of the places where you felt particularly validated. So I'd love to hear from each of you, whether it be a destination or an experience that you had that really made you feel particularly included, and maybe there's some folk on the call who can hopefully learn from that as well and repeat that. So maybe Abby, if I come to you first.
A place where I felt particularly included. I don't really know if there's a particular place where I was like, wow, they really see me like as a queer, or us as a queer family. I just know that we've traveled in different spaces, and I guess I would say the place that surprised me the most is when we went up into the Midwest, like Montana. a lot of people were like commenting on like my face mask, and I had like a rainbow face mask on, and you know, with my wife and our kids, and people would be like, "Oh, you have a beautiful family," and like those types of comments, they help. And especially being in the Midwest, you're like, oh, I don't know how the people are here, but we didn't feel like discriminated or like we were being stared at or gawked at or anything. So that would be the most surprising. But other than that, there hasn't really been any standout location that we've been to that I was like, wow, they really welcome the queer community. Mostly it's like Pride Month, everybody's like throwing their rainbow flags up, and then after Pride Month, you know, the flags come down. But not really anything specific year round that I've seen.
Cool. Cara, what about yourself? Do you have any particular examples or?
I have my most recent trip that we all took as a family was to Disney World, and we had a wonderful encounter with one of the workers there at the resort that we were staying at. It was the very last day, and we were there for breakfast because we were about to leave. And I had all of my like Pride gear on. I had a Pride t-shirt, my rainbow watch, and then my rainbow slides. And then Mila had on a Pride shirt, like a little Pride Disney shirt. So I was standing at where you get the food out, and I was about to pick up both trays. He was like, no, let me help you. I'm gonna walk it to your table. And I was like, are you sure? Because I hadn't seen anybody else walk them to their table. So I was like, I didn't know that was like acceptable for them to like follow me with it. So he was like, yeah, I'm coming around. So I got it, and he came with me, and then he just sat, like he got to the table, and then just like stood there and was just like beaming from ear to ear, was like, I love your watch. I love your shirt. I love your sandals. I love her shirt. Like, I love all of this. He was like, your family is so beautiful. Like, thank you so much for just being here and being present. And like, I just love y'all. So anyways, I leave. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Like, how kind is he? So I leave to go get drinks after he leaves. And I come back to the table, and my partner is squalling, and I'm like, what is going on? And he brought these little Mickey Mouse head, little Rice Krispie treats that were dipped in chocolate. And he brought them back to the table for all three of us, and was just like, I just wanted to give y'all something because y'all are so beautiful. And it just, I'm gonna cry. Been an emotional week. You know, and just feeling validated in that, you know, and having someone see our family for who we are, and say that it's beautiful, and like go out of their way to really make an impact I'm trying not to cry. It really means just so much. Like it means more than they will ever know. So those type of things like really stand out to our community and to our families. And I'm done. Sorry.
I think you've got everyone feeling it. But thanks so much for sharing that story, because I think that's so powerful to show how one individual with such a simple gesture can make such a lasting difference for like you, and then also your whole family, because everybody saw that. So thanks so much for sharing, and I think that drives home the power of allies 1,000,000%. I think we'll come back to allies and maybe some tips for allies at the end, but thanks so much for sharing that.
And wish families a happy Pride Month. Like that makes a huge impact. If you see queer families out during Pride, tell them happy Pride Month. Like that means so much coming from anybody, just a random ally or people in the queer community. Like all of it matters. So it's just a wonderful way to show like, hey, I'm here with you. You have somebody that's on your side. And it just makes you feel at ease in that moment. Like you just feel so good. So yeah, we'll just add that in.
Thanks. And Doug, do you have any thoughts or any other moments you'd like to share?
Yeah, I haven't really. I think because Ari is so little still, we haven't had too many maybe like major holiday experiences yet. We've been to see my gran, Ari's gran in Tenerife, and away with Sanjay's mum as well. But just think when we actually flew back from Atlanta, you know, we were so anxious about traveling with a small baby. So that was more of our thoughts. When we got on the plane, we were at the front row, you know, where you get the little bassinet to go on. And everyone was just so, you could feel the eyes on you, but everyone, you know, we were more nervous, like spilling milk. And Ari was in about 3 outfit changes before it even taken off, because we were all like making a mess with everything. But actually, when we got off the plane, the amount of people that came up to us in the passport queue, just getting physically waiting for our luggage, because we obviously, after 6 weeks away, we had a lot of luggage. As we were waiting for all that, the amount of people that just came up to us and said, "Oh my God, she was amazing. You guys were so good with her." We'd never traveled really. We'd just been like, we're so used to traveling on our own, but with Aria, and we're so, confident with traveling normally, to suddenly be with Aria as well, we were just totally out of sorts. So for all these people just to come up to us that didn't know us, and no judgment, no mention of two dads or anything like that, just to say, you guys did great with her, because everyone, really relates to a little baby we've found, or, they definitely want to tell you about their grandkids and stuff. And we just felt really included in, just like we were just two, normal guys getting home with their baby, and everyone was really supportive. The crew and everything on the flight made it a really pleasant experience to something we've been dreading, really. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and I imagine that traveling with a almost newborn baby, regardless of what your family makeup is, like that's an intimidating thing.
That was the easiest bit. As she's getting older, it's getting harder. I wish I'd known that at the time.
Yeah. I guess on that then, for folk listening, I guess regardless of what your family looks like, do you have any tips? Does anyone have any tips for traveling with kids? Any hacks? Anything you found particularly that works?
Snacks.
I was gonna say snacks. Snacks, and always have a snack and a drink.
We're not really, we've just discovered that you could pre-order formula and baby essentials airside. So when we've traveled and we've got so much, we used to be so good at traveling lightly, that is totally out the window now. That we discovered that you could actually pre-order airside, collect your formula, etc., if you're using formula, and then that just allowed, and then you can take it on as duty free, which just allowed us to have even more stuff that we don't need on the plane. But yeah, that was the only travel hack that we've discovered so far.
We our kids do screen time, so we have tablets, but we save it for specific moments. Like if we're on the plane, like that's when you're gonna get your tablet. And we also download shows. We download like lots and lots of shows, and headphones.
Yes. And if we do the same thing with screen time. We have she just now was able to get her iPad back because we took it away for a long time. We decided to like cut that out. But we just now decided to start giving it back to her every once in a while. So that's like one, I guess, fun little thing. But then she has a Switch that she plays. So like that's something else that we do. Or books, like she loves to read. So taking books on the plane and doing stuff like that's really helpful. There's some planes that will provide like headphones and then the little screen so they can watch movies and stuff. That was this previous trip, and that was perfect.
Green snacks and juice, got it.
Yeah, basically.
Amazing. Well, I loved all of your examples of like individuals who have made you feel really included or validated, and sort of the people you've interacted with. I guess, so my next thought would be, when we're traveling, we interact with a lot of different providers. It could be airlines, it could be hotels, attractions. Do you have any tips of things you've seen done well, either by like a hotel or an airline, to be inclusive of all types of families? Does anyone have any examples of seeing that inclusion?
We've done quite a lot of trips, like Abby said, actually outside of Pride Month. And I think sometimes when the hotel brands, we've done some things where, you know, it's not part of being, you know, for Pride or just a one-off thing. We've been included in campaigns or things, you know, that are just global and going throughout the year, which is it feels really important to see, to not see, you know, our community just in one month of the year, but to see them, you know, in all hotels in their branding and using it throughout the year. And I think the hotels we've had that have done that, we've always, you know, really looked to them. If we're going away, we always try and, you know, use them as we know they're more authentic and genuine with it as well.
Yeah.
I have one with the Moxie. We stayed with them in Chattanooga. Yeah. They keep a inclusive pride flag up all year round, and they're just lovely. They're very inclusive. They're very welcoming, and they just really want to make like all families feel seen and validated, and I love that about them. And it's one of the hotel chains that like we will always stay at, just because we're like, y'all were so wonderful. Like I still connect with them to this day. Like we still chit chat in DMs to this day, because they're just lovely humans. And I love that they have that flag in their main lobby hanging up from the ceiling. Like it's huge. But like it just all year round, like you don't really see that from a lot of chain hotels. So to me, that spoke volumes, to be able to walk in there, not during Pride Month, and see representation right like
that. Is it on me? I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure if you were a speaker or not.
I'm still trying to rack my brain, but I guess the place where I've seen the most representation would have to be in Breckenridge. Whenever we go, they have different, like their little flags in their windows. They hang them there year round. They even do like a Breck Pride in like April sometime. And I even remembered we were saying something on the street, and this lady like cheered us on, and you know, talking about like our family or something. And I guess that would be the place that I felt the most comfortable was when we were in Breckenridge. A lot of different those little symbols, like, or, you know, comments, or they really do help when it comes to being a little bit more comfortable in a place. You feel more seen, not just ignored, you know, oh, there goes that family with the kids, you know, because sometimes it can feel that way too, like you're imposing on something. But when people see you, recognize your children, pay attention to your children, want to make them more comfortable, that really does help me as a parent feel more comfortable in a space as a queer parent.
I totally agree with you, Abby. I mean, it's just like if we go somewhere and we feel that initial like inclusion and like everybody's cool and we're cool, like Cara W is more likely to like hold hands or let me like lean on her and stuff like that. If we're somewhere where she does not know, nada. I'm more willing to take that risk to test the waters to see how people feel. But she is like, I'm not. We're not gonna put us in the line of fire if we don't have to. So we're gonna check surroundings. We're gonna make sure. I mean, she's constantly like people watching and like making sure everything's okay with her worrying self.
Do y'all do when you see another queer family, you're like, oh yeah. We did that when we see
another queer family. Cara's always like, we're gonna do the nod, and then we have this like little joke where we say, well, if you see another queer family, you have to say caca. Like our
we saw these. I think we were in Seattle or Portland, and we were on the street and we saw these two dads, and they were buying this stroller for their little baby. And I wanted so bad to just go up to them and be like, hi, we're queer too. But I didn't. But they looked at us and we looked at them, and there was a moment there, but we didn't bother them.
Oh.
But they were buying the stroller.
And then you start to worry that Then you start to worry that they think you're staring because you're like judging, and you're like, no, I'm staring because I'm trying to connect.
Yes, like, hello, let's
You
hang
have
out.
people in your area. We're here. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing though is we all try to make like beaming eye contact, because we're really trying to say like telepathically, like, hey, we're together. Like, we're all, if anything happens, if anything goes down, we got you. We're here.
Yes,
We said
absolutely.
when me and Sanjay were getting on the plane after we said, I can't remember, we were bringing her back from Tenerife, and we said, oh my God, is everyone staring at us? And then we actually looked, Aria had a full rainbow baby grow on. She had rainbow blankets, all these rainbow things. We're like, well, we are really like walking down the plane, like, look at us, we're getting down. So yeah, that was, we thought, we're like, we've done this to ourselves here, but at least everybody knew if you wanted to come and say hi.
Right.
Well, this leads really nicely onto the next question, which is around being visible. And so I feel like you've teed that one up, but you're all really visible online with your families and with your stories, and as influencers in kind of the travel sector as well. So I'd love to hear from you. I know we touched on it right at the start around representation, but I'd just really love to hear from you why it's important for you to be visible online and have the platforms that you do. Doug, do you want to take it first?
Yeah, I think as I started as travel, and Sanjay is mixed race Indian as well, the amount of DMs and everything that we've had, just especially from India as well, and people that maybe, especially when we got married and we wore the Indian Shawanis, and it was like, it got picked up by a few Indian accounts and started reposting our pictures, and the amount of lovely messages that we got, that people were just saying, wow, they didn't think that was possible, and all these things. And I guess as our account has grown and moved into something else, I really found Instagram a really great place to find other people and what I'm looking for. Or, you know, so if I was looking for gay dads that had done surrogacy actively on Instagram, to connect with them and then find out more. And there's quite a lot in the US. But there isn't so many here in the UK. We've connected with some great ones here now since going through the process. But we did just exactly that, representation and just being visible. And we really want Aria to grow up with, you know, it'd be really normal for me to have same-sex parent friends, and everyone have a different, what the family looks like, not just we've got all the books and, you know, which are great, the rainbow families and all this, but I want physically to see these people. And I find social media is a great way of meeting up with people. And I've started to actually meet up with people in our local area. I met a lovely lady at the weekend who's got 2 sons, and we went out for the afternoon just, you know, to meet and really connect with people that actually have not different looking families, but, you know, everyone's not all the same. And I want Aria to grow up knowing that, you know, everyone's, you know, a happy family, regardless of what it looks like.
That's so nice. I love when Instagram friendships and connections become life connections. I guess Abby and Cara, I think you can speak to that as well. But yeah, for you, like, what's the Cara, I'll come to you first, of having your platform and being visible. What does that mean for you?
I mean, heck, it means everything. I have so many messages all the time about my story with coming out later in life. You have no idea how little representation we all had. Like, I would say anybody from 25 up to, I don't know, 65, like, we didn't really have that representation early on. And if you were nervous or in a space where you felt like you could not come out, you tried to fit into that heteronormative society, fit into that box as much as you could. I mean, heck, I was married to a man before. I also had a child with a man before. And like, that's what I mean. There's so many people out there that are like, give me some advice. I just left my husband, or give me some advice. I want to leave my husband, or I just came out to my husband last week and now I don't know what to do. I don't know how my family's going to react. How do I talk to my children about this? That's a huge one. Because if you think about it, like, a lot of the people that come out later in life, they have kids, and they may have teenager kids, they may have little kids. And the biggest, just so that everybody knows, like that's listening right now, the biggest thing that I always tell people is let them know you as a queer person before you start going and introducing yourself as a queer person with someone. I think that was the biggest difference that for me and Mala was that I let her know me as a queer mother first and foremost, like without anybody attaching to me. It's me that's queer, not this person that makes me queer. You know, so I needed her to have that understanding, so that she didn't look at somebody like, oh, well, you made her this way. No, 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 no. So that to me is a big part of why I tell my story so often and just try to keep explaining to people like it's okay. And also that you're still a valid part of the LGBTQ plus community, even if you came out later in life. Your past does not define you. You are not any, like that does not dictate who you are as a queer person, because a lot of times we don't have the space. You don't have the space, or you don't feel like you have the acceptance or the possibility to come out at that particular time, or to live your authentic self. And you want to make sure you're in a safe space. You're in you're able to live your truth freely and respectfully, and being able to do that for me was at the age of 30. So it's like it doesn't really have a timeline of, oh, you need to come out at 15 or 20 or 10 or whatever. You can come out at any time in life. That is what you know, that I think that's what society has a hard time with, is like they're like, well, if you weren't queer when you came out of the womb, there's no way that you could be queer now. I mean, look at all you've done. And I'm here to break that cycle and that heteronormative way of thinking. That's a huge chunk of my platform, and why I feel like that visibility is absolutely necessary, especially for like our generation.
Yeah, and you tell your story so beautifully, and I think the way that you show your family is just so beautiful. I love it. Abby, I'd love to hear from you why being visible and having the platform you have is important for you too.
For me, being visible in the like travel outdoor space is important because my family is interracial. My wife is white. I have two daughters, one who she's got blonde hair, blue eyes, but she is mixed. And then my other daughter, she also looks like me. So that not only are we queer, but we're also, you know, interracial. So showing that visibility, especially in the outdoor space where it is a lot more white, male dominated. We're two females, you know, we're camping, we're snowboarding, we're trying to do all the things and trying to show our girls that they can do all the things too. Like gender doesn't matter, how you identify doesn't matter, your skin color doesn't matter. If this is something that you want to do, you should do it. And so it's important for me to show that part of representation, and social media has been great. I've connected with a lot of great friends. Cara is one of my friends. We've met up in person twice now. This next in August, we have this big camping trip coming up, so our daughters will finally meet, which I'm really excited about. So
Me too.
so connecting with more parents that like to go out and do things, that's really kind of big on my plate right now. What I want to get more into. I want our daughters, because a lot of times when we go out, that's what they see. A lot of, you know, white, straight families. I want them to see more of that queer family energy, you know, different family. Not saying that they have to look like ours. I want them to see different types of families, you know, single mom, because I was a single mom for a little bit. I came out when Maya was about a year old, almost a year. So I came out when she was really little. She's known Jamie since she was 18 months old. So that is mom. And then we had Jameson through reciprocal IVF. But I just want them to see different types of families just going out, traveling, just doing their thing, having fun. Not saying you got to like everything, you know, maybe you don't like doing this 5-mile hike that we just did, but you know, at least you went out and you did it. But, you know, just, I want them to see more of that, more besides what is portrayed in media. That's what I like about social media, is that it's not just, you know, ads and things that are being forced down your throat. Social media just shows you like, hey, these are all these different types of people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. So that's why it's important to me. I'm sorry, I talk a lot.
I love it. No, I love it.
Okay. But also Abby has totally, like, their travels and stuff in the camper, like she has totally influenced Cara W to want a camper now. Like that's what, like, she wants eventually to get into camper mode and travel around, you know, and do and see more and have a place to stay. And we have no idea how to do any of that stuff, where as a lot of you guys like know how to do all of that. I know nothing about it. So but
we'll definitely teach you up when we come to town.
Yeah, show us some things, because I know nothing. But we are going to stay in a yurt this weekend, camping. So, you know, we'll see how Milo like handles like really being out and camping, and not in like an RV or something, like actual camping. We'll see how that
Jamie said that was glamping. She said y'all are glamping.
Yes, it is.
Y'all aren't really camping.
It's glamping. We are not in a tent with some sleeping bags. That's for sure.
I love it. Well, we're gonna give people a chance to ask questions in a little bit. I think the questions are turned on because it's only giving me the option to turn them off. So I'm assuming that means that they're already on. But we'll give, if anyone wants to ask a question, drop that in there. But whilst we're waiting on maybe some of them coming through, I have some on my laptop as well that are coming through from different folk. But I'd love to just hear from you finally, like, what are you most excited about? Pride Month is, I mean, we're on the 21st, so we're getting quite through Pride Month. So either like, what's excited you about this Pride Month, or what are you excited for the rest of it? I don't know anyone want to jump in and share or go first?
Really excited. I know Aria saw her first little Pride in South Carolina, but London Pride's actually been really important to us. Sanjay has been in it, marching many, many times as well. So actually we've always said that, you know, it's because actually the Pride in London is more focused on, you know, actual, you know, Pride and the parade and, you know, the marching, as opposed to the big party. So it is an important one. Me and Sanjay actually met at Manchester Pride as well. So to be able to take Aria to London Pride this year, we're just so excited to take her and watch it all, and hopefully see some of the LGBTQ plus families, and just, you know, connect with. There's already a few that we're going to connect with as well. So just to take her, she's got a little rainbow dress ready to wear, and she's got a rainbow sequin shawl someone bought her to wear, so I'm really excited for that. So she might not thank us in years to come, but she's got it for now. And I'm really excited. Yeah, just to go and enjoy the space, and for what it's for. You know, it's taken a lot of people a long time to get us to where we are now. So for us to be able to go back to Pride after meeting 14 years ago at Manchester Pride, actually, you know, we met at that side of it, you know, at a party, but 14 years later, we get to go with our daughter and watch it. And it just shows, you know, we've got a long way to come, but we have come a long way as well. So we're just really excited for that.
Oh, I can't wait to see her in her little.
Oh, wait, it's good. It's good.
And it's the 50-year anniversary for Pride in the UK this year as well. So I believe London will be a big celebration.
We just got yesterday one of the commemorative coins. They've got the 50p, and they've actually put, I don't know if you can see it, they've put for 50 years, they've put rainbows on the actual coins here. So we bought it yesterday. It's pretty amazing, really. So.
Well, that's
really cool.
They only do that in the UK? Because I don't think we have that.
It's just on our actual 50p piece. So it's a special one to mark 50 years. So.
That's cool.
But we put it in
That
a
is-
frame. I'm not spending it.
Now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call my friend in the UK and get her to send me one.
Yeah, you need to get them.
Oh, God.
Awesome. Abby, do you I'd love to hear from you what you've been excited about or what you're excited about for the remainder of Pride Month.
We actually got a chance to go to Brooklyn Pride. We went without our kids. So that was kind of fun to have some just like adult time, but this Denver Pride is this weekend, so we're going with our children, and also my niece will also be here, so she will get to experience that with us. I'm really excited about that, and meeting up with some other queer families. That's really my focus when it comes to Pride Month. I just want to be surrounded by all the queer people that I can be. So.
Amazing. Cara, I know you just had the big Disney trip.
Yeah. I feel like we've been going nonstop. Like we have not been able to go to any prods this year. And my sister is at Atlanta Pride doesn't happen until October. And my sister is getting married that same weekend. So I know it was like a dagger to my heart. But I think we are going to try and make it back for the Pride parade and stuff on Sunday so that we can do that. But yeah, there's just not many Pride things that are here during the month of Pride, but that's why I like flood my social media during Pride month and like stay on and staying connected with everybody through like all their Prides. We were supposed to go to New York City Pride this year, but with the Disney trip and all of that ended up happening, we said we were going to put it off till next year. But we are 100% planning on going next year, and I'm so excited because I've been wanting to go to New York City Pride for the longest. So yeah, but I mean, I like the same as Abby said, like just want to surround myself with queer people, even if that isn't at a parade or, you know, at an actual Pride event. Like I just like to be around my queer people during the month of Pride, whoever that is or wherever they are. Even just here, like our friends here in Atlanta, like I love that.
Yeah, I'm so excited that it's finally back in person because I've enjoyed celebrating virtually for a while, but it's been a crowd of people and just feel surrounded by that sense of community. It's such a positive time, so definitely relate to that. We don't have any questions coming through in the chat, but I do have a couple of questions coming in from some folk from Skyscanner who, if you see me looking this way, I've got my laptop this way too. So I'm going to just check what we've got from there. One of the questions we have is, where are your kids' favorite places in the world? And Doug, maybe not one for you yet, but I don't know if Abby or Cara, if your kids have got like a favorite holiday they've had or vacation they've had or a favorite place they talk about wanting to go back to.
I mean, Disney's on Mala's plate right now. So that's one of her favorites. And the beach. I mean, anywhere where water, she is a water bug, loves the water, everything about it. So if we can get her in water, like she's sold. Like that is 100% where she wants to be. So anything like that, those two things, very kid friendly, very kid oriented. That's where she wants to go. She's not big. I mean, we haven't really, I guess, taken her to like some of the super like adult spots where you go to like museums and touring and things of that nature. But I was trying to think, what did she go to that was kind of like that? But she does like to get into, you know, looking at exhibits and things. But she's like a water person. So take her anywhere near water and she's good.
She looked like she was at the time of her life at that water park.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she did not want to leave.
I would say for my two, they're pretty like we just got back from the Rocky Mountains, so they can go outside, they can grunge it up, go hiking, play in the lake, but they also like when we go to a nice hotel. We just recently flew to New York, so Jameson loved that. She hadn't been on a plane since she was like 2, so she didn't really remember what it was like, but here she is going through the airport, pushing her little, you know, carry-on suitcase and she's all concerned, like the plane's gonna leave us, and we're like, no, Jay, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna get on the plane. So she loves, like, they love the nice things, but I also like that they can, you know, busy themselves playing with sticks when we're outside, when we're camping. So they just like to be, as long as they're doing something, they're fine. They also love water. So when we stay in Breckenridge, we stay at like this little kind of resorty looking place. And so they'll play in the hot tub and then they'll go snowboarding, or they just kind of, like I said, as long as they're doing something, they're fine with it. They're not really too picky. It's when we don't do anything and they're like, this is boring.
Oh my gosh.
We're at home. Like, we're not, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's another travel tip for parents. Don't make sure you're doing things just lined up. Kids are like, I'm bored. Like, we literally just sat down to breathe. Could you just
Yes. Like, let's take a chill pill right now. Let's be okay with being bored, you know? So that way when we do go out and do stuff, they're like excited and busy. But yeah.
Love it. Cool. So another question that's come through is around allies, and I know we spoke about allies, and we share some powerful stories about the importance of allies. What one tip would you have for folk who want to be an ally to the LGBTQ plus community or to LGBT families? Doug, I guess I'll come to you first.
I think you've got to be an ally all the time. If someone says something in their own circle of friends or something that is wrong or isn't, you know, and they are an ally, they need to stand up to their friends and challenge that, you know, whether it's use of language that's, you know, wrong or whatever, they need to be doing that. So even I, you know, when I'm trying to be a trans ally or whatever I need to, you know, if I'm hearing something that's not correct, I need to, even if it's uncomfortable for me, it needs to be addressed there and then. And that's what I think of as being an ally.
Totally. For me, I would say a big thing for me here recently is I keep saying, like, tolerance is not acceptance. Those are two totally different things. So just because you tolerate queer families, queer people, whatever, that does not mean you accept us. That is not allyship. It's just to tolerate the existence of us being here, and tolerate us taking up space in this world. Those are not the same thing. And I think a lot of people get that confused, and they confuse that with acceptance, but then they want to back that up with, but my religion still, you know, technically says that it's wrong to be gay, but I still believe how I believe, and I really still feel like a man and woman need to be together. Okay, well then you're not an ally. You're just someone who, I don't know, it is okay with us living and existing as long as we don't really push it all in your face. And, or, you know, quote unquote, that's how they view that. And I've just gotten really where I'm harping on that. Like, it's not, tolerance is not the standard. Acceptance is the standard. Like, we want you to accept and respect our families as equal, not as just, yeah, I mean, I guess y'all are okay to exist here on this planet alongside us normal people. You know, I think that that's a big misunderstanding or a lack of knowledge that people have around queer families and just queer people in general, that we're doing the right thing because we're allowing y'all to be here. That's like the bare minimum that you could ever even do, allowing us to be just who we are. Like, that's wild to me. So yeah, that's my big push, is tolerance is not acceptance. So if you're going to be an ally or say you're an ally, it's true acceptance. It's acceptance in all its forms for every single letter in that acronym for our community. Every single one. Don't leave out anybody.
I would say for me, just not ignore, like validating my existence. Because Cara, you said it earlier, like I don't want to be ignored. My family is just as important as anyone else's family. My being a parent doesn't make me, doesn't make my situation or, travel experience any, like I still want nice things. My girls still want nice things. Like I want to be seen. I want to feel validated. It's those little touches, like seeing a rainbow or acknowledging the fact that this person next to me is my wife. Just asking questions to try to like clarify, that is also nice. Like I don't mind answering questions, but don't like assume. I don't think anybody wants that, but just acknowledging, adding those little touches, and continuing the conversation 365, not just during certain points, is what I think is how I think an ally should behave, act, in order to support our community.
Oh, losing my voice. Yeah, that's great. And I mean, our time has gone so fast. I feel like that's such a great point to wrap up on. But like, we're talking about doing it 365 days a year, being active and not passive in it, and really welcoming in. And I think it's mentioned a couple of times, but being inclusive of the entire LGBTQ plus community. And for me, that includes people who also identify as part of that community, to be allies for each other as well. Because there's still bias within the community as well. And so I think, yes. I think if you're identifying as LGBT, you don't get a pass on being an ally as well. They're both, it's all important. So this has been like the fastest hour ever. We've covered so much. But I'd love to wrap up with just giving you a chance to promote where people can find you, if people are not already following you, either here on Instagram, but also what other platforms and what other work are you doing that you want to sort of shout about and promote. Who wants to hop in first?
I've just got, we just really use, we've got our surrogacy stories on YouTube, and that's the Traveling Gays. I think in America you use one L, we use two L's in the UK. So I think that's got some confusion, but YouTube, it's the Traveling Gays, and the same at the app Instagram as well. So we just document what we do. But I think we did do a full 2-bit part of our surrogacy journey on YouTube, just to give people a better understanding of the whole process. But on Instagram, it's more just day to day what we're up to. Sadly, I thought she might be here actually, but she's still asleep, so we're all right.
Happy with you. Abby, do you want to share where we can find you?
Okay. I'm at Abby's Roller Coaster Life on Instagram, also YouTube and TikTok. That's mostly where I just kind of do a little bit of all the things.
Awesome.
And I'm at Cara's_ATL. And I am on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I do everything. So, yep, just come find me there.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This has been great. I know I've learned a lot. Hopefully folk who dialed in have learned something as well. And happy rest of Pride Month, and happy travels with your gorgeous families for the rest of the year as well. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Happy Pride.
Bye. Happy Pride.